Y'all peaked late with 6 losses. Barely got into the playoffs that last game you won. But you want to peak at the right time. That's the key to sports, isn't it?
Right. Throughout the year, we kind of talked in January that, in order for us to win a championship, we had to go up another level. That right now, we're not getting any better. We're not any better now than we were in December. And it stayed that way pretty much until the end of the season. And for whatever reason, there wasn't any changes we made. Our lineup remained the same. We played the same style. But against Dorman in our last regular season game, we won. And then going to Fort Mill and beating Fort Mill, who not as good as the Fort Mill team that won the state last year. I'm not going to sit here and say that, but they had lost one game, and we went over there and beat them in their gym. And I think from that point on, our players believed that we could have a chance, believed that we could get this done. But there's not anything different that we did. It just kind of all came together, and we're playing better. We're a better team now than we were 3 weeks ago. Are we good enough to beat Summerville? Then I wouldn't go and predict that, but we're better than we were 3 weeks ago.
What's better?
Just our chemistry. We're playing better offensively. Our shot selection is better. Defensively, we've been able at certain times of the game to kind of lock the other team down and keep them from scoring. We don't play a lot of people off the bench, but we're getting a little more contribution there. These two guys beside me, you can look at the stats. They're averaging, they're 40 points a game. They're getting 20 apiece right there. And for much of the year, we weren't getting that third guy involved. We get our other 3 players might combine to score 15 points. Well, that's not going to get it done. In the last few weeks, we've had one player might step up and get 19. We had another player get 14 in a playoff game. So we've got to have our other 3 players and a couple guys off the bench that are going to give us, a little bit of scoring right there and help these guys out because they've been pretty consistent. There's no saying, don't get an average unless you're going to keep it. Well, they've averaged 20 points and they've been able to do that through most of the season right now.
Coach Newman, can you tell us just about your team and the style of basketball you play?
A big part of it is the 5 guys that are here. 4 of these 5 started last year, and the one that didn't was the first one in off the bench. So basically, we've had 2 years with the class of seniors. All 5 of these guys started on their respective positions in football. So our style of our team is that we have football players that have become skilled basketball players. Definitely play up and down the floor, aggressive defensive style, probably a little better defensive team than offensive team, and utilize our bench pretty deep because most of our players are about the same type of players. Obviously AJ's scoring statistics are a little higher than some of our other players, but after that, across the board, pretty even statistically. So we'll play, at least 9, sometimes 10 in a game.
For both coaches, y'all both kind of play similar styles, like to run it up and down the floor. Do you expect Friday night to be a high-scoring type game because of that?
Well, we run up and down the floor, but we actually don't score a lot of points. Spartanburg, we're good at the run up and down the floor part, but it's more of a defensive style of running up and down the floor. We average about 60 points a game, and I know that Spartanburg is an excellent offensive team. They're certainly better than we are on the offensive end, and I think it'll be the contrast of the 2 teams will probably be the difference in the game, in that can we score as many points as Spartanburg does, and as Spartanburg can score against our defense. We're similar teams, but we're different in that regard. They have 5 excellent starting players that all can score from all the positions, and we try to find some points from our end sometimes it has to be off the bench. You know, our third leading scorer is off the bench, so a lot of our statistical guys come off the bench, and we have to find a way to do that. Whereas they're pretty solid. I mean, at each position, their statistics are pretty strong.
I think, for our standpoint, the style that Summerville plays is very similar to Gaffney. Gaffney had great success with 3 straight state championship teams, and they're a similar pressing team. And one of my coaches said that Summerville reminded him of Gaffney on steroids. Summerville's bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, they're better right there. So I heard AJ speak, and I was kind of disappointed. I thought when we came in here, he might announce that he was going to forego his final game and concentrate on his football in Georgia. Evidently, he is going to play.